people do you know that would put something called RS-242-methylpropyl phenylpropanoic acid in their body? How many people do you know that have ever taken ibuprofen? Would you be surprised to learn that these two are the same compound? Maybe you know people who don't take ibuprofen at all and instead rely on natural anti-inflammatory substances to cure their headaches. After all, this does seem safer. Nature has produced that compound, not some guys in a lab, and surely our bodies can tell a difference, right? If you have spent any amount of time on social media, it is likely that you have come across medicinal or nutritional misinformation. As with anything, these myths range in severity from the reported dangers of carbohydrates to the outright denial of modern medicinal practice. Though some forms are less damaging than others, all types of misinformation are problematic for people trying to navigate their own health and diets. Some of this type of misinformation, including the keto diet, the blood type diet, and several forms of alternative medicine, are rooted in an incomplete understanding about how medicines or food is handled in the body. These myths, especially those focused on dieting, also often promotes a sense of shame about body size or around the food we eat. And this is clearly damaging for people who have struggled with things like eating disorders or other mental health concerns in the past. Myths are allowed to perpetuate because they target people who are already anxious about their own health. And honestly, who can blame these people for being anxious? When is the last time you met somebody who could sit down and explain how ibuprofen, for example, is handled in your body? I don't have time to address and explain the principles underlying all of this misinformation in one video, so instead I'm going to focus on one of the most prevalent types of misinformation: complementary and alternative medicine. I hope that by focusing on this topic, I can help redefine exactly what constitutes a chemical and provide some biological plausibility for some of these purported remedies. Complementary and alternative medicine involves the use of non-mainstream medicinal approaches together with or in place of conventional medicine. This can take the form of several different things, including acupuncture, chiropractic medicine, herbal medicine, and different forms of energy healing. Some of these practices, including acupuncture and chiropractic medicine, have been demonstrated to be effective for a small subset of conditions, like headaches or pain management. Others, including those that claim to cure cancer, have limited to no support for their purported benefits. Today, I want to focus on things that people ingest to gain some sort of health benefit. Commonly, people eat things like herbs or the latest superfood in order to lose weight, improve some sort of health condition, or prevent serious disease like cancer. And I'm sure many of you have heard of people eating things like chia seeds or lavender to gain these purported health benefits. As with other alternative remedies, some herbal supplements actually do help with a limited subset of conditions. For example, some evidence suggests that one of the most well-characterized medicinal plants, St. John's wort, is actually useful in treating mild to moderate depression. Despite the proven benefit of some of these plants, they will never be a cure-all or replacement for modern medicine. For example, despite its benefits, St. John's wort can also have severe interactions with prescription drugs like heart and cancer medications. Because of these interactions, taking St. John's wort at the same time as these prescription medications makes the prescriptions less effective and can worsen the associated health condition. Taking St. John's wort in conjunction with another antidepressant can lead to a condition known as serotonin sickness as well, and this illness causes insomnia, confusion, and in severe cases, seizures in people affected by it. Similar interactions and side effects are common with other types of herbal supplements as well. Because of these common side effects, depending on non-traditional medicines without doing further research on them can be detrimental to your health. Herbal supplements are regulated by the FDA, but not to the same degree as prescription or over-the-counter drugs. This means that although manufacturers have to have some evidence supporting the claim of the supplement, the claim is not rigorously evaluated by the FDA before they are allowed to be sold. And this is less of a health risk and more a financial one. Herbal supplements are pricey and they may not even be doing the thing that they claim to be doing. One fundamental problem with the belief in herbal supplements or superfood is a misunderstanding about why some of them work and, by extension, why conventional medicines work in the body. Most conventional medicines have a well-characterized mechanism of action, and this phrase refers to the way that a medicine interacts with your body to produce a desired outcome for your health. Some chemical component of the medicine interacts with your body to produce an effect. And the reason why some herbal supplements work is because there is a specific chemical in that herb that interacts with the cells of your body. For example, in St. John's wort, a chemical called naphthodianthrone hypericin interacts with the body to alleviate the symptoms of depression. And the mechanism of action of this chemical is actually thought to be fairly similar to that of traditional antidepressants. St. John's wort targets specific receptors in the brain that lead to an overall increase in serotonin levels. And it is the interaction between this chemical and the cells of your body that help alleviate the symptoms, not any other special property of the plant. Even in traditional medications with unclear mechanisms of action, all medicines are well characterized as effective and safe. And as we discussed earlier, this is not always the case with alternative medicine. Some of the most common pharmaceuticals, like aspirin, were actually derived from plants. The important chemical from these plants is concentrated or synthesized in a lab for sale on the market. One important thing to note is that your body has no way to differentiate between chemicals that are synthesized in a lab and chemicals that are ingested alongside food or another supplement. So choosing an alternative remedy over a pharmaceutical simply because it is natural is not really providing any type of benefit to your body. Critics at this point may argue that the long list of side effects on prescription medications are reason enough to make the switch to natural remedies. And this point fails to acknowledge that alternative remedies like St. John's wort also frequently have side effects associated with their use as well. Another thing that strong proponents of alternative medicines tend to gloss over is that not every herbal supplement or superfood is effective, and some actually carry intense health risks associated with their use. For example, in 2016, apricot kernels, or the pit inside of the apricot fruit, were being touted as the newest anti-cancer superfood that provided a myriad of benefits to the body. And a man in Australia began taking apricot kernel-based supplements every day to prevent his prostate cancer from recurring. When he went to the doctor, they found that he had 25 times the acceptable level of cyanide in his bloodstream. Cyanide is a molecule that prevents the body from properly delivering oxygen to its cells. Apricot kernels contain a compound called amygdalin. When amygdalin interacts with your body, it is converted into cyanide. And when cyanide circulates through your body, it can cause symptoms like vomiting, lightheadedness, or even death in severe cases. The Australian man believed that the amygdalin in the apricot kernels would kill off any new cancer cells that grew in his body. The problem with this belief is that the cyanide produced when amygdalin interacts with the body cannot tell the difference between cancer and non-cancer cells, so it non-specifically starves them all of oxygen. Importantly, no clinical evidence shows that apricot kernels or amygdalin make effective anti-cancer medications. The risks associated with consuming them far outweigh any potential benefit. Though this is just one example, it is indicative of a larger problem. The Australian man did not stop taking the apricot kernel supplements after having a conversation with his doctor. He decided he still needed the apricot kernels to prevent his cancer, even after being informed of the risks and lack of evidence for this belief. Why? Well, probably a lot of reasons, but I think that illness-related anxiety is one major factor that has allowed for these beliefs to spread and stick in people's minds. Having a major illness like cancer is terrifying, and I understand why he would want to do everything in his power to prevent it. Common treatments for cancer can also have brutal consequences for the body, so seeing something as mundane as an apricot kernel promised as a cure-all for that ailment would be extremely appealing and extremely simple. Unfortunately, science and medicine are very rarely simple. As we have already discussed, the chemicals contained in the foods we eat or the medicines or supplements we take can have hidden interactions with the bodies that are detrimental to overall health. Any product that claims to be a miracle drug that cures all ailments usually just has a really good marketing team. Understanding how to find quality, reliable healthcare information is key to avoid falling into these marketing schemes. Though it can be difficult, it is not impossible, and several reputable sources like the NIH or FDA frequently publish fact sheets and studies outlining the risks and rewards of alternative medicine. Doctors and pharmacists are frequently happy to talk about how medicines work and interact with the body, and taking advantage of these resources is important and necessary to avoiding misinformation and living a healthy life.